Welcome to the live Q&As. In this live stream, you can ask me anything you want. I'm an expert when it comes to apartment locating, digital marketing, paid advertising, organic tactics, really everything in the real estate industry or digital marketing industry. Why do we choose to be locators over realtors? The reason we choose to leverage our real estate license and specifically become locators over realtors is because the job is easier and we can make more money. That's just the quick answer. Nowadays, locators average closer to 80K a year. Okay, some make way more, some make less. And then realtors average 50K, which is a little higher than what the old average, I think, was 45K for realtors for like the longest time. Now that's increased to 50K. But hey, locators average 80. So I was saying this to everyone years ago. No one really believed me except for our students. But nowadays, what's really exciting is that you can just go to Indeed or Glassdoor or ask ChatGPT, and it'll just prove that for you. Locators make more money because the business is easier. All right. While realtors have to deal with so many steps before they close a client, locators, we can just post a bunch of free ads, take 10-minute Zoom calls, send the clients by themselves. They drive by themselves to the apartments. They write our name down, and that's our commission right there. What's even more amazing is that we're positioning ourselves as agents, helping our clients during the first stage of home ownership. Because what do you think people do before they buy a house? They rent an apartment. That's the natural first step evolution before someone saves a bunch of money, advances in their career, and then decides to buy a house. So what's really amazing if you're following along is that, yes, the business is easier, we can make more money, but inevitably, as long as you've got a CRM like that's sophisticated, you can automatically nurture relationships with your renter clients that are already making you six figures. You can nurture that relationship, extract more referrals from their friends or family, and do the same easy job of referring them to an apartment. But what's amazing is that once these renters evolve and become first-time home buyers, it's so much easier to work with the same client that already has a business relationship with you. So that's how you can kind of take that renter lead, evolve it into a first-time home buyer, and that's 10 or 20K a pop. That's why we're so excited about this industry. Anyhow, welcome to the Q&As. In just a second, it will start, and then you'll get to ask me whatever you want live. See you real soon.
Okay, remove. Cool, let's see. Okay, I'm back. Let's start this off like this. We have the 10 questions from our school students. We have to prioritize those as well. So if you're like one of our high Locator Academy students, we'll answer your questions first, always. And then we're going to answer questions from the school group. And then if I have time, I'll just pop in the live comments and answer everyone's questions. So maybe I'll go fast so I can get to everyone. Let's see here. Look at this, though. Look at this real check. Let's see if you can see that. One of them is $1,837. The other one is $2,032 as a locator. So one of our agents closed two people, made $2,000 each from home doing a Zoom call. That's super cool because you can't do that as a realtor with lock boxes and having to pay MLS dues and everything. So that's what we're talking about. Getting little commission payouts like $2K a pop. Sometimes we've seen $4K if you want to target downtown. Usually there's higher market rents. But downtown is a little bit more advanced to focus on as a locator. Like if you're really trying to get familiar with an area and you're just starting off, downtown is kind of like the harder submarket to learn because everyone is super picky and it comes down to like block by block. If one apartment that's located a couple blocks away could mean the difference to everyone. So it's like a little bit more of an advanced market to specialize in downtown because you have to be super precise when giving advice. But however, there is larger rent downtown. That's where you can get into like the 4 or 5K payouts as a locator is when a building is paying 150% and then the rent down there is like $3,000 for a 2-2, right? That's a $4,500 payout. So it is possible to earn more than like I just showed you 2 commissions, one for 1837 and the other one for 2032. Like you can make more than that. You can. You see that? Look at the total. You can't. It's not focusing. You can make more than that, but usually the averages we see like $1,500 more or less is kind of what's normal for a locator. If you're doing your job and you're leasing apartments on the outskirts, is usually where we see better deals and specials over downtown. All right, let me just quickly run through the questions and answer all of them right now. And then if you guys think of anything on the spot that has to do with this locator niche or like how it compares to being a realtor, um, and just pop in your questions in the comments. Hopefully you're on YouTube so you can see other people. Because what I was explaining earlier, like if you're in the Facebook group, there's like 2 people live on there, right? We also don't really go live a lot on Instagram. So there might be like 1 or 2 people on Instagram, but we have like over 20 in the school. And then also YouTube is stronger as well. So if you want to like interact with other people, see other questions come through, you might have to just hop on to YouTube. All right, let's see. The question list is right here. All right, Lauren from Skool is asking, what is the fastest way to land your first 3 paid leases in 30 days with 0 pipeline? Yeah, so another good reason we like being locators is because it is the fastest way to build your real estate pipeline, right? So I think people tell you that a lot as a real estate agent, but you got to build your pipeline. What does that even mean, right? What that means is you want to continuously compile contacts, just potential people that are interested in your real estate services. You want to continuously pile up contacts and you want to store those contacts somewhere. So a lot of old school locators today, they still do paper guest cards, and that's crazy. And so then I guess manually, this is one contact, this is another contact, you stack them, you're building your pipeline. However, all of that is much more efficient online. And so Lauren is asking, like, what's the fastest way you can land your first 3 paid leases in like 30 days or less with 0 pipeline? The answer to that, Lauren, if you're listening, is what you have to do is understand how to, first off, sign up to the locator database. Because the database to a locator is what the MLS is to a realtor. You don't need the MLS if you're a locator. You only need that if you're a realtor. Okay, so sign up to a locator database. There's basically 2 big options. Smart Locating is the leader. They're around first. And then Spark is like the second big competitor. One of our Locator Academy students, Tony, went on to like create that. So it's cool that like one of our students created the largest competitor to Smart. So it's really between those 2. I suppose ALN is another third option. But we've trained over 700 locators in this business, which is more locators than any company in the world. And most of our locator students either choose Smart Locating or Spark or maybe some proprietary one that their brokerage firm has, right? Like WTA or Smart City might have their own proprietary thing. I know Smart City uses like Google Sheets out in Denver, Colorado, and they build their own database. So like if it's not like some broker proprietary database, the ones that are readily available are Smart and Spark. So choose one of those. And then that's the only tool you actually really need to do the business is the database. Now, how you land your first 3 leases is you have to manipulate your database and actually find deals that are good deals. Because dealing with renters is different than dealing with like home buyers. When someone's buying a house, budgets are all over the place, and people, they don't mind spending more for a house because they're going to live there forever, right? It might be their primary residence, and they're going to maybe raise a family there. So like people are okay with spending more money and jumping into another price bracket when it comes to their home purchasing budget. But when it comes to dealing with renters, and because our business model revolves around helping regular renters rent regular apartments, because that's your niche of focus, you have to understand that people aren't as emotional when it comes to renting an apartment. Some are, but like not really. So like what people are looking for is lower rent, newer construction, larger square footage, and just close to where they need to be, maybe close to a job, or we see a lot is close to the daycare. So yeah, right. So that's what actually matters to people are just good deals on a rental, because chances are they're only going to be there for a year or 2. And so that's what you have to understand. people don't really spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars more on an apartment just because they can, right? They always want good deals. So like the question is, do you know how to actually find a good deal in your market? Like, like if I asked you right now, I'm looking to move into Cedar Park. I need a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Do you know the best deal on a Class A 2-bedroom in Cedar Park? If you don't, or you don't know how to find what the best deal is, you're never going to close your first 3 leases quick, right? So the way you do that is by manipulating your database, using the right filters, and isolating a search in Cedar Park for only 2 bedrooms. Then you're looking at the numbers. Which one is newer, lower rent, high square footage? And you go down that list, and this is what becomes like the work that you do as a locator. It's really not that hard. You just look at 3 things. How new is it? Is the rent low? What's the square footage? You just rinse and repeat going down that list. And what you'll find is that you'll start seeing a pattern. You'll start seeing things start fizzling out. Like it looks all the same, right? Like 2020 bill, $1,200, 1,000 square feet, whatever. You'll start looking at a pattern and you'll go, oh my God, all of these are $1,200, $1,200, $1,200, $1,200. And then randomly, you'll see one that's 1,000. And you're like, wow, that's a good deal. The rest are $1,200. I'm looking at the data. This one's $1,000. That's the best deal out in Cedar Park. Right? I'm just giving you an example. So once you can identify that that's the best deal, then it just becomes like understanding where to post that advertisement on organic platforms. We teach a lot of like Nextdoor, Facebook Marketplace, because you can voice chat with people and upload a video. We teach a lot of like awesome tactics on how to get the most out of Marketplace as well. Video tours are so important. You almost don't even need pictures if you have the right video tour. If you don't have a video tour, you can still make your own by using Loom and then recording the virtual tour and then upload that to Facebook, right? So there's always solutions to everything, but it's all about using the right organic platforms correctly, right? Craigslist still works. It's not what it was back in the day, but you can still sign up for an auto poster, and then you can have an auto poster post like 3 to 5 ads a day on Craigslist automatically. That helps as well. So it's all about understanding the organic platforms, what to use, right? Some of them kind of went away. Like we saw All Market on Let Go. We were the first to test that. Then that kind of shut down. And then we used to use Rent Links as well, the syndication platform. That was sweet for a while. And then Rent Links kind of caught on. So, you know, there's a lot of ways to do organic marketing, but the 3 that we named are really great. And then just doing normal guerrilla marketing, like going to the actual apartment complex, dropping off business cards with QR codes so you can measure the activity of what's working, right? And then doing kind of tricks like that and helping lease the people that walk in and there's no availability at the apartment. So then they refer them to you. That's another really strong organic marketing step, right? But no matter what the platforms you choose to list your deals on, if you don't know how to manipulate your database and find the good deals in the first place, it's all going to be crickets. No one's really going to reply to you if it's not a good deal, right? So don't be like most locators that aren't a part of our program. They just pick the highest paying commission, like 200% commission, and then just post an ad on that. Like that's not going to work, right? It's not going to work as good as actually doing the work, finding out the best deal in your opinion, right? And then only marketing properties that are the best deals on apartments that are Class A, not Class B, not Class C. So then the other part is like, if you don't even know what a Class C or Class B or Class A apartment is, that's something else you have to learn, right? So in order to get your first 3 leases right away, select the right apartment, post it the right way, get these people on a phone call and just push them out same weekend, right? You know you have the right deal, post it. Once you get messages, you have to entice them to call you. Like, yep, this apartment's available. Can you hop on a quick call so we don't lose the special? Then they call you and you push them out. Yep, they're doing 1 month free. It's the best deal in Cedar Park. I look at data every single day. This is the best one. Can you go tour Saturday? And just push them out, remind them to write your name on the app. That's how you get a couple leases in one weekend. Okay. And you don't have to have a pipeline. You just have to know what the best deals are by knowing how to manipulate your database and just post for that and push people over there. That's how you do it. If you don't have a sophisticated CRM, then you're never going to build your pipeline, right? So if like use Locator IQ, but even if you don't use IQ, at least use something. So you can use Trello like for free. We used to teach it, and that's a way to kind of organize like stages and do pipeline marketing so you can really grow your pipeline, right? Apartment locating is really fast paced. So like I can generate 200 to 300 leads a month. So if I do that, I'm going to forget the last thing I said to someone. So if you don't have like at least Trello that's free, or like IQ, which is better because then you can add automations and workflows. If you don't have one of those two things, you're just winging it. You know, people are messaging you. Maybe you can get them on a call. Maybe you can push them out and they apply and make you $2,000 like this. Like maybe this can just become luck for you. But if you want to turn this into a business, you have to like organize everyone in a real pipeline, whether it's Trello that's more basic or the better one, which is Locator IQ. You have to organize everyone in some kind of a structure so you don't forget the last thing that you said to someone. Okay. I know I spent a lot of time on that question, so let me just fly through the rest. How do you pre-qualify a renter in under 3 minutes without tanking rapport? Oh, okay. So John's asking like, how do you do pre-qual super fast, but without like making anyone upset? I think what you're referring to, John, is like when you're asking those sensitive questions, like, do you have any criminal record? What's your credit score? What's your income? Those are like kind of uncomfortable questions to ask someone. So it really just depends. Like if you're brand new at this, you should be taking manual phone calls and posting on organic platforms and just doing everything manually. Unfortunately, like in our program, we help everyone get a sophisticated survey. So like to answer your question, how do you instantly pre-qualify without tanking report? Well, I just send them the survey link. And then it takes them through all of that like one by one quick. And then you never have to really do it yourself manually. But when you are first starting off, just do it manually. Like when you're first starting off, the answer to what you should do is how I just answered Lauren from the Skool group. Like if you want to lease right away, find the right apartment, learn how to manipulate your database, post ads, ideally video walkthroughs so that because it's better. And then once people message you, is this available? I'm interested. Can I see this? You give them a reason to call you. Yes, it is available, but I don't want you to lose the special. Call me right now. Once you get on the phone with them, you explain, I'm a real estate agent. My service is free. You should go out there because I spent all day looking at Cedar Park the way Pierre teaches me in the Masterclass. And I know for a fact that this is the best deal and they're doing 1 month free. Do you want to just go tour this Saturday? Yes. Okay, great. Do you mind writing my name down, Lauren, on the app if you decide to apply? That's how I get credit from the apartment. Yeah, no problem. Why would they care? It's a free service, right? So you remind them, you just push them out to go tour, right? And if it's a class A building, the way you found on your database, and they're doing a good special like 1 month free, a lot of these apartments, they give them like look and lease specials, which I love. Because like the second they step foot, they're like, in order to get the 1 month free, you have to apply now, right? And so the staff will help you close your clients. Just get them out there and make sure that you know what a good deal is. So that's what you do right away. And then just on that phone call before you send them out, do the pre-qual manually. So then just do it. I know it sucks for now, but you have to get into a habit of like making thousands of dollars right away. And then you'll appreciate things that we help you set up. So like once we set up the pre-qual survey that does the pre-qual for you just by shooting over a URL, and if they answer poorly, like I have 500 credit score or I have a felony, if you're using Locator IQ, wherever it is, if you're using IQ, if they answer incorrectly, our survey is smart enough to where it'll disqualify them automatically. So it won't even let them book a call with you if they answer like incorrectly. And so this way, you're only working high quality leads. So the survey automatically pre-quals them. It disqualifies them if they have low credit or criminal. And then you're only focused on high quality leads, right? That's the other reason we use IQ is once we disqualify someone, like say they have 500 credit, we don't just totally waste the lead. We fire off another automation using IQ, and it's going to refer that lead to a colleague that you've identified that is okay with receiving low credit score referrals. So like if someone else can close them, IQ will like instantly fire off that referral, and it'll follow up with them a month later, all while you sleep. So while you're disqualifying people, you're not like wasting the lead entirely. You're sending it to someone, the system will follow up for you. And so this is what becomes much more efficient, right? But that comes with like IQ infrastructure. It's more advanced, right? You have to set it up correctly. You have to put in your domain in there. So it does take some setup. So the answer is like, if you're brand new, just do it manually. It's not that hard. Push them out there. And then over time, if you're a part of our programs, either the full Masterclass or the Locator Academy, this is where we help you like start making your job more efficient and like removing the heavy lifting, right? So like first do it manually, and then you'll appreciate once you set up real infrastructure. All right. Third question. Are worth $3 a day, which are a waste right now? That's a weird question. I don't know how to answer that. Which cold lead sources are worth $50 a day and which are a waste right now? I don't really know what you mean. Are you talking about paid ads or what? You're saying which cold leads sources are worth $50 a day and which are a waste right now? I think you might be referring to paid ads. You have to elaborate. But if you're talking about paid ads, the only strategy or solution for that is way more simple as a locator. Your cold campaign is YouTube video. Like the placement is YouTube. The creative is a video creative, like 60 or 90 seconds long max. And then you run an ad. Your hook is like, if you're looking to move in within 60 days, listen up. That's your hook, because you can only help people within a 60-day window. That's how rentals and apartments work, right? So because if you lead gen for people outside of the 60-day move-in, you can't make money off of them, right? So your hook is like, hey, if you're looking to move in within 60 days, listen up. That's your ad hook. And then you go, we're licensed real estate agents. We focus on apartments. This is all we look at every single day. If you want to make sure you're getting the best deal on an apartment, click the link below, complete the survey, and we'll see you on a free Zoom call. That's your whole ad. So that's your video ad presented on YouTube placement only. That's your cold campaign. So it's YouTube ad to survey to book a call. That's the flow. And then you set up a second campaign, which is remarketing. And remarketing is super simple. It's just all the people that started the survey, the IQ survey, that didn't actually book a call. Remarket to them only. The big takeaway there is only start a remarketing campaign when you have 200 to 500 people in the pool. Then you run remarketing. A lot of people run remarketing way too early. That's why we see this in our students. Like they try to turn on remarketing because it's safer and more profitable. But the problem is that you have to like build the patience to wait like on remarketing. First, you run your cold ads. Once you have like 200 people that have started your survey and bounced, then you can run a remarketing campaign. And the remarketing campaign is easy. It's just like testimonial ad to book a call. That's it. So it could look like this, like, hey, you were just about to book a call. You were so close. I don't know what happened, but check this out. We got our last client 1 month free. She's super happy. And remember, our service is free. Hear it from her. Then you roll the testimonial. And then after the testimonial, you go complete your call, book a Zoom call, and we'll see you on that call. That's your remarketing ad. And your target audience or the audience is you set up a custom audience. You're going to run Facebook and Instagram feed only. Those are your placements because Facebook and Instagram are cheaper than YouTube, but you wouldn't do Facebook cold. You would only use it for remarketing. And so then you present a remarketing ad, Facebook and Instagram feed only. I just ran you through the video. It's like a quick hook, testimonial, finish booking your call. And then you run like 20% of your budget on cold. So if you're starting with like $50 a day on YouTube, then your remarketing campaign, you're going to wait until you have 200 people or more pixel events. Then it's healthy. It's not going to crawl your remarketing campaign. And then you start with like $5 or $10 a day. And that's your daily budget for remarketing. And this is what's going to remind people to book a call. The huge takeaway with remarketing ads is that your client retention should be 7 to 14 days if you can fit 200 events within that space. If not, you can expand to like 30 days. So your audience retention is 30 days to 7 days, but 7 days would be more ideal. I don't want to get too far into paid ads though. People are gonna hop off this and they're not gonna pay attention. Okay, what's the next one? What are the CTRs, CVRs, CPL, and okay, that's too far into paid ads. What is the minimum viable locator IQ set up to launch booking tour? Yeah, so someone's asking what's like the minimum viable way to set up like IQ and then just launch it soon to book calls. So again, like the kind of the answer to that is you definitely don't want to just start if you're brand new, just do everything cold and manual. But if you are experienced and let's say you have digital marketing experience, then the way that you would set up IQ, first off, IQ is almost pre-built for you, like the sales funnel, the survey, the calendar, we kind of pre-built for locators. So that's cool. And then in order to really launch IQ well, just go through the free setup course that comes through IQ. That's going to help you set up your domain, your email sending domain, and then like configure your surveys so you can just start booking calls. And then of course you have to go to the settings and then set up your Zoom. That's basically how you do that soon. So the answer is go through the setup course. All right, number 6, how do you structure across? So someone's asking like, how do you do collections the right way across multiple portals without it becoming a full-time job? The only way to handle all of your collections yourself is to hire a virtual assistant and train them to do it. It is kind of collections as a locator. It's not that it's difficult, but it's unorganized. So we've talked about this on a lot of live videos, but like there's like 5 vendor portals that some apartments sign up with, and you have to go through their portals before you get paid. And then the other issue is that like some apartments have no portals and you just send them a quick email and you're paid and life is easy. So it's not that it's like challenging to like sign up as a vendor, but the broker kind of has to take care of that because it's asking for sponsoring broker information, their broker license, their W-9, and only your sponsoring broker like has access to that. So there's a little bit of back and forth if you're with a brokerage firm that doesn't specialize in locating. So like the only way to really outsource to do your own collections where it doesn't become like a full-time job, I suppose, is to have your own brokerage firm, or you could hire a VA to go back and forth with your sponsoring broker and do it for you. But that's not easy. We actually have a program specifically for collections called the Bulletproof Collections Blueprint, and it's coming out soon. So yeah, it's not easy. The quick solution is just go to a broker that specializes in locating and just let them do it all for you. Just don't try not to do collections by yourself. Because that's what will put a bad taste in your mouth. Like you're gonna try to do, this is what's gonna happen. You'll start locating, you'll do 5 leases for your month, and you'll be like, this is great, $2,000 each. I just made 10 grand, right? So you'll do your first 5 leases, and then you'll be with a broker that doesn't specialize in locating. So the problem is like, by the time you go back and forth with the properties, hey, what do I need? A W-9. Then you go to your broker. I need a copy of your W-9. That takes time for them to get back to you. You send over the W-9. And then you're like, what else do I need to do? And then the apartments go, well, we need your broker license as well. So then you go back and forth, you get that. You're like, what else do we do? Well, we need your errors and omission insurance. You're like, why don't you just tell me this up front? Because they don't want to pay you on time, right? And so then you go back and forth, and then you're like, great, I've given you everything. Can I get paid on my one invoice? And they're like, nope, you have to do the vendor registration, and only the broker can do that. So my point is, if you try to like work with some big general broker or try to do it all yourself, there's so much back and forth if you don't have guidance from us that it does become like a full-time job. It's not that it's hard, it's just unorganized. So, and then imagine doing the same thing with your second lease and your third lease and your fourth lease and fifth. So by the time you actually do all the steps necessary on these different portals, there's like RMIS, Net Cafe, Vendor Cafe, Net Vendor, and like some other one, OPS. Like by the time you do that across 5 different portals, you're going to be really burnt out and not focus on sales, right? You're like, you just stepped away from helping people rent apartments and you're just dealing with your own collections. And the problem is, if you don't do this on time, even though you made 10 grand your first month, it's really going to take you a couple more months to collect it. So like, if you were with a locating firm, they would have collected all your 10 grand in 1 month. But if you try to do it yourself and mess around and you don't know what's happening, it might take you 3 months. So even though you netted 10 grand a month, you're really only receiving like 3K a month, because you're spreading the production out over 3 months. So like, timing and collections is really important in locating. Almost everyone can just work full time and make 12 grand in a month, but then it just becomes like, are you really going to receive it within 1 month? Are you with the right brokerage firm, right? If not, just because you made 12 grand a month doesn't mean you're going to collect it in 1 month. That's the big problem. And so to solve that, just go with a broker that focuses on locating, right? Or just go through our new Bulletproof Collections program that's coming out soon. All right, number 7, what are the must-follow Texas advertising rules, and then referrals and stuff, so the payouts, so you stay compliant. I think in Texas, you can only give $50 worth of value, but it can't be cash for third-party referral sources. You can rebate your client as much as you want, 100% of your total commission. So like, this client made an agent $2,032. You could rebate all $2,032 back to your client. I don't know why you would, but you could do that. Now, if, let's say, John Smith referred me this client that I turned into $2,032, I can't just pay him cash and anything I want. If John referred me this client, I can only kick him back $50 worth of value, and it can't be cash in Texas. So that turns into like a $50 Visa gift card is usually what the rule is. This can change depending on your real estate commission though. So yeah, it's important to go into that. It only gets kind of fishy if you start using our influencer shout out tactic in the masterclass. That becomes kind of fishy, because like, technically it's a third party referral source, but really it's not. They're just doing a shout out. They're not directly. So it does get kind of gray area with that. Okay. And how do you comp them? So someone's asking, like, when do you raise your budget on your paid ads? So it actually scales. And then does it make sense to hire a setter? Yeah, I mean, using an assistant in locating to do appointment follow-ups, which would be an appointment setter, could make a lot of sense. They just have to be like fluent with whatever you're using. So like, if you're using Trello for free, make sure they understand Trello. If you're using Locator IQ, which is better, make sure they understand pipeline marketing on a CRM. So yeah, hiring a setter does make sense. A lot of our students hire one virtual assistant, and they help them like follow up with the leads as they're working them. And so really kind of getting a good infrastructure with that going will allow you to hire your setter. I would wait until you're at least doing 10K a month before even considering that. And then the next question is like, when do you raise your paid ad budget? I would raise it no more than 20% of your daily budget, because if you raise it and just blast your budget way too fast, the problem is that like, your ad set, like, it'll reset learning. This is more like advanced with paid ads, but if you have an ad set, and I don't know, let's just say you're doing $50 a month daily on your cold YouTube ads, right? Directly to the survey. So you're booking Zoom calls as a locator. If you're running like $50 daily and it's working well, you're happy with your cost per lead and everything, right? Then and you're like, I want to add more money into paid ads, don't go past 20%. This is what a lot of people don't understand when it comes to paid ads. Like, if it's doing well, slowly increase. You can decrease by like 30%. That's not really a big deal. But if you want to increase your ad budget, because someone was asking in here, then just don't go past 20%. Because the problem is this is what happens in real time. We're seeing this with paid ads. You guys will appreciate this. So a student came to us. This is a real example. And they're doing like $50 daily budget. I forgot what their budget was, but I know that the increase was more than 20%. So let's just pretend it was $50 daily budget, because I forget the actual number. And then they're like, hey, this was going so well that I increased my paid ad budget, my daily budget. So that person increased it by like 50%. So they went from spending $50 daily to like $75 daily. The problem with doing that is when you increase that much budget, your ad set, it just resets the learning. And this can be really harmful with your paid ads, because you have to understand that like Google and Facebook, there's like AI algorithm in there where if you give it way too much data in one change, it kind of freaks out again and is like, this is new budget. I don't know how to allocate this profitably anymore. Let me just restart the learning. And that's not good, because then your cost per lead starts changing and you don't know why. It's because you reset the learning. So like, the rule of thumb is like, if your cost per lead is a number that you're comfortable with and you want to increase your ad set budget, then don't increase it by more than 20% a day, or not, you're going to reset the learning. So like, whatever the AI figured out that is working for you, then as long as you slowly increase, it's going to probably predictably continue to do that cost per lead, or that CPA is what they call it, cost per acquisition. It'll like hold on to that metric better when you just increase it by 20%. But yeah, this student was like, my cost per lead was great. Then I just like doubled the budget, and now it's like all over the place. It's way worse and it's different every day. That's because you have to increase by no more than 20%. So hopefully that answered that question. Okay. We're creating winning locators today. What angles are winning for like locating ads today? And then how do you rotate King of the Hill without resetting learning? All right. Yeah. So these are our students that are asking these harder questions. And like, you're probably thinking like, what is King of the Hill? When we teach paid ads, we use a King of the Hill method. And all that means is that like you run 2 ads, and one of them is usually your winner, and then you have a challenger. And that's all you can really test at like a $10 to $50 daily budget, right? Because we don't have a lot of budget as solo apartment locators. It's not like anyone's going to start putting $500 daily into ads, right? That wouldn't make sense. But we do start with like $10 to $50 daily, which ends up looking like $300 to $1,500 a month. That's like what locators actually spend when it comes to paid ads. So someone's asking like, what other creative angles? You can split test like an image. I would just go to Canva, make sure the size of the image is 4x5, because that takes up more real estate when you're running feed ads on Facebook or Instagram to remarket. So you could do that. You can also test. There's really 2 different types of paid ads. We do a direct service ad where we just tell people that don't know about us. We just say, hey, we're apartment locators. This is what we do. We can help you find an apartment for free. And yeah, it's free to work with us. Click below. That's like a service-based ad. And then you can run another ad on like an actual apartment building. So you'd be like, hey, this apartment just opened up in Cedar Park. They're brand new. They're doing 2 months free. It's even like less expensive than the older buildings. Book a call so we can, give you all the details on this unit. And then you just run through a video tour as a paid ad. So those are more like apartment ads. And then there's like service-based ads. I usually run like the direct service-based ads when I run paid ads, but you could just test both of them and then also split test like an image for remarketing. So that's how you would do the King of the Hill, is like 2 ads at one time. Once one ad is really, really bad, you just pause it and then you add another challenger. And if the challenger ever beats the current ad by over 20%, like your cost per lead goes down from like I don't know, like $50 down to like $35, that's more than 20% better. So then you swap it, and then now you have your current winner, and then you add a new ad. So you're constantly just doing the king of the hill method. That's how paid ads stay like doable and not complicated. When you only run 2 ads, you pause the loser, add a new challenger, pause the loser, add a new challenger. That's like what king of the hill is what we teach in the master class. Okay. Ted, how do you use influencer collabs the right way so the followers get value, you stay legal, and you can track? That's funny. We just like kind of talked about that earlier. And you can track to signed leases and CRM. Yeah. So if you want to track like your influencer collabs, um, this is again kind of more of an advanced marketing tactic, but like I would argue the only better thing than paid ads is when you do influencer shout outs properly. This is what we teach in our master class towards the end of the Locator Academy. But in order to stay legal, I mean, it's just kind of a gray area. We talked about this earlier, how technically in Texas, you can only pay a $50 non-cash value like kickback or referral fee. It's kind of weird with influencers because it's not like they're actually referring you a person specifically that needs help. They're just like shouting you out on their Instagram. So is that really like a direct referral? I don't know. The real estate commission doesn't know either. We went back and forth with them, and they didn't give us like a solid answer because social media is just like foreign when it comes to the real estate commission. They don't know what's happening. we emailed Trek and we're like, yo, can we pay influencers more than $50 or what? And they're like, we don't know. Like they just don't have an answer for us. So when you're asking like how to do the influencer collabs in compliance, I mean, no one really knows. Just pay them whatever you want to pay them. Maybe just stick to $50 Visa gift cards, and then you're in compliance for sure. Okay. But the way you add value is the way we teach that is just give them like, I like to do giveaways. That's kind of how we teach it. We have a program called NAL rebate. Sometimes we factor that into the shout out, or we'll just buy them like AirPods for like, the AirPod 4s or like $100. And we just say, hey, look, if you need help like renting an apartment, follow my page, comment below, and then like send me like comment the word like rent, and then you're entered into the giveaway. So we run giveaways a lot. We're like, hey, first place, we'll get the Apple AirPods. Second place, we'll get whatever else you want to offer, maybe like a 2-night Airbnb. And then everyone else will help for free and cover your app fee after you move in. So that's how you do influencer shout outs, where you can help people rent apartments that way. And then the way we compensate the influencer is like every single lease that we get, we just kick them back whatever, right? Like a fee. So that's how you do that. And then the last part of your question is like, how do you track that stuff? You definitely need Locator IQ. You definitely need Locator IQ to track that. So we create an automation and we track the efforts through tags, like contact tags in the CRM. So like there, maybe I can show you this, but there's a way that you can create a trigger in a Locator IQ automation where you like specifically select your shout out post and you say like, hey, everyone that comments on this shout out post, tag them the influencer's name. So like by the time the shout out's over, everyone that commented on the post that you selected are tagged like the influencer's name. Like say you're working with Kim Kardashian and she's like, okay, I'm going to do a shout out for you as a locator. How are you going to track all the efforts to pay me? Well, then you tell them, I'm going to create an IQ automation, right? And then I'm going to select the Instagram shout out post, and every single person that comments rent, I'm going to tag them Kim Kardashian, right? And so that's how we'll know, Kim, by the time you're done shouting us out, we'll have all these contacts tagged. So if we ever lease them, we just refer back to IQ, and then we'll pay you on the person that we lease because they're tagged Kim Kardashian. So that's how you would do that. But you need like a serious, sophisticated CRM in order to track that. There's no other way to do that. So you can't do that not on like Trello. Trello's not going to cut it. You'll need a real CRM for that. Other than that, that was everything from like our school students. And so it's almost about time to pop out of here. Someone's asked, "What's up, Amanda? Can you do both locating and realtor and being a realtor?" Yeah, you can. A lot of realtors like supplement their slow seasons as well with apartment locating. I've always just been a big advocate of like just do locating full time because nowadays, if you go to like Glassdoor or Indeed, Amanda, you can see that locators average more of an average income over realtors. So you can just straight up look that up on Glassdoor or Indeed.com or ChatGPT, and like you straight up can average more money if you full time focus on locating. But we see a lot of realtors that they'll like a lot of people sign up, they're like brokerage owners and they have a bunch of agents that like they suck, just like how I sucked. When I started as a realtor, I was terrible. I didn't close a single house in like 45 days. I was really bad. I thought that I just would never be a good real estate agent. And then I switched over to locating, which is way easier, and I could make six figures in this weird niche. So I suppose if you have a team of other agents that are not producing well, then have them do locating at least on the downtime, because it's really as simple as just posting great deals, hopping on the phone with people, pushing them out there by themselves, and reminding them to write your name down. That could be literally to over $2,000, like this actual check right here. There's two of them for $2K. You just push people out there. So yeah, it's something you can supplement your income with. But yeah, you can do houses and locating. But if you focus, I would argue full time on either. Like, when you focus on something full time, usually there's just a better result. Like, so if you're a realtor, just be a realtor unless there's a slow season. Then in the downtime, I suppose you can post some ads and push people over to apartments to tour for quick $2,000 commissions. But if you really like apartment locating, just do locating full time, because dealing with houses is a lot harder. Like helping someone get approved for a mortgage. They need 2 years of tax returns in a similar industry for the last 2 years. They need over like a 680 credit score to get a good interest rate. And now interest rates are super high. So now it's even more important to have like a 740 or higher credit score. But then, there's so many more steps to closing a house as a realtor. There's like contingency stages, inspection stages, offers back and forth in writing. You always have to escort your clients around and show them houses, especially if you're getting into resale where there's lock boxes on the house. It's like, how can they even unlock the thing without you being there? And like some properties are digital, but then some aren't. So it's a lot of harder work to be a realtor. So I would always encourage everyone to, like, if you're not doing locating part-time, then just do it full-time. Okay, let's see. At the same time, ask me anything here. I've heard you say there's about 3,000 locators nationwide. How sure are you? And where do you get your stats from? Yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe there's less than 5,000 now. The way that number came into existence is there's one database provider. I forgot is it public data? I forgot the name, but there is two reasons. The first source is the Texas Real Estate Commission. You can straight up look up keywords on there. And so when we typed in locator, apartment rentals, we added up the numbers of the results in the Real Estate Commission, because that's all public data. If you're affiliated with a broker that's like blah blah blah, ABC apartment locators, citywide apartment locators, any of these like locator keyword terms, or they're anywhere in your license history, you can pull that stuff up. It's all public data right on the Real Estate Commission website. So that's one way we started adding numbers up. And then there's this other database where you can look up. It's kind of like, LinkedIn, the Sales Navigator. It's like really similar to that, but it's more comprehensive than the LinkedIn Sales Nav. So we use that tool. And the reason we were using that tool is because we were putting together like a cold email campaign where you had to use, I think it was Apollo. The name is coming back to me. It was a polo or something, but it was like more accurate than the sales navigator on LinkedIn. And what this does is it looks at all the social media profiles and scans for keywords. So like everyone on LinkedIn that has ever associated themselves with the word locator or apartment locator or apartment rentals, we scraped up all of those numbers and it was pretty accurate. So once we added all the keyword searches in every single state, Texas, all the 50 states, and then we just added the results up. It was at the one time it was less than 3,000, like 2,000 something. And then by now, maybe it's grown. We've helped 700 agents make the pivot. I mean, we're definitely under 5,000 for sure. But when we did that actual search a couple years ago, it was less than 3,000 of social media profiles, LinkedIn profiles, Texas Real Estate Commission, and other real estate commissions with the keyword locator, apartment locator, etc. And if you ran that same search for like realtor, then it was like over 1 million. So it's pretty accurate. It's probably not like 100% accurate because we know now NAR announced there are 1.5 million realtors. Well, if you do the Apollo search and the sales nav and just look on the real estate commissions, it's pretty close. It's like 1.2, 1.3, right? So it's really close, but it's not 100% accurate. But if you do the same search for the keyword locator, it's like less than 3,000. So that's how we know. Okay, hopefully that helps. Other than that, I think that's kind of like all the questions on YouTube at least and the Skool group. So unless someone wants to ask another question really quick, I think we will hop off. What's up, Dallas Lakefront Homes? That looks like Jessica. What's up, Jessica, if that's still you? Let's see here. Media assets. 1 second. All right. Well, I think no one else has a question, so I'm gonna hop off. If you guys want to talk further about like the locator model or what we do as a company, then just send me a DM on Instagram and then we can chat. I like Instagram because I can just voice chat to everyone. I get like a dozen DMs or more a day on average. One day I got 100 DMs. That was insane. But on average, I get like a dozen or so DMs in a day. And the cool thing about Instagram is I can just voice reply to everyone on my downtime. So it's just a lot easier than booking calls with people. It's a lot easier than just text, like typing back and forth. I can just voice reply to you. So send me a message on Instagram if you want to talk further. And that's how you can reach me. Hey, what's up? What's up, Jessica? All right. I'm surprised you didn't have any questions as well. Also, Jessica, if you're still watching this in the in what week? I think it's week 3. In the cold module, there's 2 more videos that we added as we're like finalizing ALM 3.0. So if you're going in there, just double check week 3, I think, and the cold module because you might see some new ones that pop in. Jessica joined our Locator Academy. And so, yeah, you joined like we're like a week away. We're like probably 7 days away from finalizing 3.0. So as you're taking the 2.0 course, you'll just see some changes happen. So just pop back in. Pop back in there because those are important as well. The video that we added, I think today, was how to get paid on escort only properties. We added that right into the cold module in the I think week 3. The cold client module. The last video we added was how to get paid on escort, like regardless. And so we provide like the 4K Loom video that we funded for everyone in the Masterclass. That's in there. You'll see it. And then the email template as well. So if you're ever like in the position where you're like, oh crap, I sent this client and they're saying that they require me to escort and you didn't, there's like an 80% chance you can still get paid. Just follow video 10 in the cold client module that we just added. It is, Jessica says, it is great so far. That's awesome. Cool. I'm glad you're enjoying the masterclass. Speaking of that, let me just go ahead and let me hit you guys with a commercial about this because I haven't spammed you with commercials yet. Okay.
Part of our low ticket, super affordable Skool group, then that is great. But just a friendly reminder that there are so many secrets and just stuff that we hold for the real ALM masterclass that we offer as well. People don't know us yet. They don't trust us. They don't know if they can really make over $10,000 a month as a locator. So we invite them to the Skool community. It's low cost. I mean, it's $67 a month and you cancel whenever, right? And you can make your first few leases happen going through the crash course, going through the mini courses, and really understanding what our community is all about. And that might be enough for some of you. But when you really start believing in the model because you're making money, what you ought to do is reinvest one lease. The ALM 2.0 is discounted for Skool members and you can finance it. So that's literally the cost of one lease. And then we can actually share with you guys our real full tactics, full secrets, like the new auto poster for Craigslist. That was huge that we reserve in there. The prompt for the AI receptionist and the AI setter, that one's massive. And we get a lot of Skool members that are like, hey, share with me the prompt for your AI rep and setter. We can't do that if you're not part of the ALM Masterclass. So consider signing up or upgrading to that. It's really the best way to help you achieve that next level in your career. So if you want unrestricted access and the most unfair advantage in the whole business, consider upgrading to the ALM Masterclass. All right, that's the end of this commercial.
You guys like my pre-recorded commercials? Awesome. Well, I think that's about it. Good seeing you in here, Jessica, as well. Just go through that week 3. Don't miss that video in case you send some people out and they're requiring escort. We got your back on that as well. And then other than that, the only changes coming out to 3.0 is the new King of the Hill method for paid advertisements. It's actually making it easier, not harder. So that's coming out for 3.0 is the paid ad module. And then getting into LSAs. That I've never touched on LSAs. That's the local search ads on Google. It's way easier than Google sponsored keywords because for the LSA Google ads, the local search ads, you're only charged when you actually book a lead. Like when you generate a lead, then you're charged, not by cost per click. So that's massive. I've never even taught that for locating, but it does become really relevant. So we're going to add the new LSA video lessons along with the King of the Hill using YouTube and Meta for the paid ads. So that's like the kind of like the final area that we need to release and edit before we announce 3.0. But yeah, you'll see those changes in there like within 7 days. We'll be completely done with that. Good to see you. And we will see you guys, I believe, on the next one. See you later. Where is the outro? Here is the outro. Okay.
Hope you guys really enjoyed that live stream. We do them once a week, every single Wednesday, no matter what, but we do prioritize the questions from our actual paying Skool members. If you're not familiar with what we offer at NAL, we have 3 core offers. The first offer that we have is more of like an entry-level offer. It's the most affordable way you can get through the door with us, and that's access to our Skool community. So in that community, you get prioritized on the live Q&As. We actually give you our $1,500 crash course that we literally used to sell hundreds of times. That's free in the Skool community as well for only $67 a month. And then you can still network with our other students that have joined our mid-ticket and high-ticket offers as well. Everyone's in the Skool community. So this is a really valuable way to join our community. It's only $67 a month. You get the $1,500 crash course in there and other mini courses so you can see us close deals as a locator through Zoom and over the phone live. That's where we really put our money where our mouth is. We don't just teach in theory. We show you how we're actually closing deals, okay? So that's our entry offer. The second offer we have is like our real masterclass called ALN. That's the Apartment Locating Masterclass. And this is our mid-ticket offer. It's like $2K. And then the highest package of support that we have is the True Locator Academy. We're using the same digital course as the flagship masterclass, the ALM. So that $2K course is what we're still using, but it comes equipped with ultimate support. You get us on like 8 calls. The first call we do is like an hour and a half long. It's called the warm-up call to really give you guidance on how to attack the masterclass. And then you get us for 7 additional weeks live on Zoom, where we do group Zoom calls exclusive to our sponsored agents or other high ticket students only. And so those calls are just much more valuable. That's our highest offer, and it's on an application-based process. So you can't just pay and get in. You have to actually apply, and we have to make sure that this industry is a good fit because it's a high 4-figure investment. Okay. But if you're on the fence, you don't really know what program to really choose, just do the most affordable offer. It's $67 a month. You can cancel whenever you want. And that gives you access to our main learning hub. And then you get prioritized on these live Q&As. So keep that in mind for next time. Join us next week on Wednesday. We're going to shoot for 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Show up next week and we'll answer all your questions for free. See you later. Bye-bye.